call the meeting to order. So we have a quorum with directors present: Harper, Leonard, Lemon, and Waldman. Proof of notice, Mr. Secretary? Yeah. Mark?
Yes. Zelda Claire, would you like to confirm?
What's that? I'm here.
Proof of notice, we were posted properly.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we have established a quorum. We've established the proof of notice. Next step would be to read the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to waive the reading as they were sent out to everyone twice.
And it was videoed and it's out there, so I would second that if I'm allowed to. All in favor of waiving the reading?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. So I guess the first agenda item would be old business, but all of our new business is old business. So the first thing on the agenda was an update on the south roof building. I wish I could give that update, but I don't really know what's going on down there. Is the roof finished?
No.
It's not finished?
No.
We still have no gutters, or?
We have gutters, but the end caps aren't finished yet.
Okay. I guess that's why we haven't gotten a bill or anything on that yet. Annoys me a little bit that they won't start the north building until they get paid for the south building.
We still have issues with our building.
Issues because the caps aren't on, or?
No, with water, the copious amounts of water coming off the front of the building.
Off the front of the building, so the pitch isn't there.
Pardon?
So the pitch isn't there. It's not supposed to come off the front.
Well, I asked them and they said the pitch is there, but it's coming off like tap running, especially down Unit 51's windows. The left-hand window, it's pouring down when it rains. And in front of my entry door, it's wet all the time. Even when it's not raining, it's dripping down the siding. There's something not right.
Diane, is the coping on it? Is the cap?
Coping,
Is the coping on the top of the wall?
there's
Or can you see it?
Diane?
Pardon? What was the question, Daniel?
Question is, can you see if the metal cap, or what technically called coping, is on the top of the roof of the wall of the building?
Yes.
Can you see that? Can you see it?
Yeah.
It is on there?
Yeah.
Or it shouldn't be, like Rob said, it shouldn't be coming off the front of the building. The roof's supposed to be pitched to the rear. It shouldn't be any water.
Daniel, and it's like waves of water running down the screens of my whole entryway.
I totally hear what you're saying, and I believe you, but I'm telling you, that's improper, and need to talk to Galway about it.
It's 51 up to 55. We've all got, it's like tap running.
Well,
It's really bad.
issue needs to be addressed with Galway, because it shouldn't be happening.
And they haven't been here in days.
Okay, I have some.
Excuse me. So I talked to Gage, Rick's son, and he told me that inspectors are coming on Monday.
Well, that's good.
Okay, so that in order for the project to be totally completed and paid, I addressed it with Mark that the GAF inspector needs to come out and certify the roof and send in the documents. So we received our 20-year labor and 20-year material from GAF in order to give Galway their payment, because that's part of the deal without a warranty, we really don't have anything.
That was
So-
definitely part of the deal.
Of 100%, 100%. And we all know that. That's when we went with this.
And the original specs that we gave out, the GAF required the pitch to the back of the building. That was part of the package also. So if it's not pitched to the back, it's going to be before anybody gets paid or we move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely,
And
because
we
it's really
need a
bad.
warranty, and we need a warranty in hand.
Yep. I'm sure if there's pooling going on up there, GAF is not going to sign off on it. So,
Yeah, and I looked at the roof from the views and so forth, and this kind of roof, I mean, it has pretty good slope. I mean, most flat roofs will have a little bit of pooling, but they say within 24 hours, whatever pooling was on the roof should evaporate. That's kind of the way it is. And again, they're going to go up, GAF inspector, and then check it all out. And if there are any imperfections, that any corrections need to be made, Galway will do that. And then once it's done, we'll receive a warranty in hand. But if we release the check for the roof before we get the warranty, then we're in trouble. It's like buying a brand new car with no warranty. Who's going to do that in their right mind? We're not doing that. We need the warranty in hand. They're going to be inspected. Then the check will be released, and then they move on to the north building repairs. That's the process. It's pretty straightforward, you know.
do we need to put a call into Galloway to find out why the water's coming off the front, or we wait until the inspectors see it pouring off the front?
No. The inspector, first of all, the GAF inspector is not going to be dealing with that because they're not warranting the metal coping. They're warranting the integrity, the water tightness of the membrane. That's what they're going to put their name on. We need to address it with Galway. It's not, it's not coming in the building per se, in the membrane, but it's coming off the front. So I think they can remedy that, figure out why it's doing that. It certainly shouldn't be doing that. It didn't do that before, and it shouldn't be doing that now. So it can be corrected. There's something going on there.
Okay, can
And
I
I'm not,
jump in
and I'm
here?
not sure without going up there, I can't really tell you.
Mark, please.
I have talked to Rick at Galloway. And there are a couple of things going on. First of all, regarding the pitch, for whatever reason, Rick said it's pitched from the center, not the front or back. And he said, I didn't argue with him. He said that was how it was spec'd.
I don't think so.
Okay.
A roof cannot be pitched from the center unless
Can I
the
finish,
roof is
please?
drained on both ways. I'm sorry.
So the next issue was the inspection. He said that the next inspector is the city of PG. He said the inspector has created an inspection time for 3 days in a row, didn't show up, finally showed up on a day they weren't there. That's what's holding the next step up. Once they get that inspection, his plan was to send us his warranty, quote unquote, from Galloway with a copy with the bill to go to Palmer, less 5 or 10%. I don't know what there's an industry standard. Once that bill is paid, then the roofing company, who are they? PGT, I forgot their name, their initials.
Yeah.
They will come out and do the inspection and do the 2020 warranty. Again, I did not argue with him. That was the process that he said that would be followed.
Okay. And in some states. That could be the process. But as far as the pitch of the roof, that's incorrect. Okay? That's totally incorrect. The only way a roof could be pitched both ways if there's drainage on both sides, obvious common sense. If there was drainage on the front, gutters, yes. There aren't any, there wasn't any, there weren't any in the beginning, so that's incorrect. It should have been drained slope from the very top
They were supposed to
of the building to the rear.
to the back.
What's that?
They were supposed to add slope board to pitch it to the back. That was definitely part of the original specs that we gave out. That's what CBF wrote up. It was supposed to, they were supposed to raise the whole front edge and pitch it to the back. That was part of what we put out to bid. I don't understand.
It's in the contract. And it's not to be pitched to both ways because there's no, they don't have gutters on the front. That's ridiculous. So that'll have to be remedied.
I would have to agree with Daniel.
Yes, that's not part of the deal at all.
It's
we're holding once we release the check, the job has to be done right. The check cannot be released until it's proper. Now, if we have to wait for the warranty from GAF, then we need to see something in writing that the roof was, they had a inspector, they did the pre-plans and all the paperwork. We need to see the permit number, something from GAF to show it's in process. Something, because they would have to come out, made a drawing. Well, Galway would have made a drawing, sent it in, and there would have been an application or permit number. And then a final inspection by GAF would they would come out and inspect it. Something of the process. Something. Because I'm in that industry, I know 100%. That's the process. They have to have some paperwork showing us. So that can be remedied. If they show us that, then we can work with that. But as far as the slope is concerned, that has to be fixed. That's not right.
Can you guys hear me?
yes. Okay.
Because I was muted there for a while. So
Rose, can you introduce yourself to everyone?
Oh, hi, I'm Rose Divers. I own Unit 43. I live in PGI, not far from the rental unit. Who is the point man for this project? Who is the head person in charge of this whole roof project? Or is the board all jointly?
The board basically jointly is taking responsibility.
But who contacts Galloway?
Daniel was our original contact with Galloway and worked the deal basically with them. So Daniel, I believe, is our point man on this project. I have always considered him that.
He'll contact Galloway and ask about this slope, this pitch, and he'll get that addressed.
I am about ready to ask him if he's going to do that for his expertise.
Because I'm asking if it's one person that contacts him or multiple people contact
Mark
Galloway.
was on site at one point and developed a relationship because he was actually there. It's difficult for us because we're not there.
Okay.
But unfortunately, Mark wasn't able to stay and he is no longer there. So between
I am here now. I just got back. So if you need me to do something or to intercede on your behalf or meet them or take pictures.
Eyes on the site are always appreciated. It is sometimes hard for us as board members to get eyes on the site. Like, I don't know what the roof looks like. We don't know if there's flashing on the roof. You know, if somebody there can take pictures and send them to Mark and he can post them so that we actually have eyes on what's going on, that would be wonderful and appreciated.
You let me know. And I know the roof inspector. So the PGI roof inspector, if you need me to call.
Well, we certainly don't want him passing it just because he knows you. Let's put it that way.
No, he would not. He would not. He's the most honest. He's the most thorough. He did my roof. He did several roofs down the street. He comes back multiple times. He's on top of everything, and he makes sure it's done right.
Well, we
And
do.
I've written letters of recommendation for him.
Okay, well, I mean, that's wonderful because we do kind of have questions on how the north roof got passed by the city, because apparently it's got all kinds of violations on it. Not the one that's being done now, but the one that was done last year. So if you have a good relationship with them, maybe you could ask them that question.
Write down whatever you want me to ask him, and I can contact. My contact is one of the inspectors. He's not that roof inspector, but he's one of the other roof inspectors. And I will meet the roof inspector there when it's scheduled, and I can certainly ask questions for you. And I'll meet the roof inspector there.
That would be great. Thank you, Rose. We'll try to keep you in the loop.
Whatever you need, I'm here, because we need to get this done right.
Couldn't agree more.
I will tell you this, again, I did not argue with Rick, but he said that we had the option of putting gutters on the front of the building, and he estimated that ballpark around $5,000.
I mean, before we selected the roofer and we went through everything, we spoke heavily about the installation board and the slope. I don't understand how this roof could be sloped both ways. If it was, it should have been corrected while the membrane was off. I really can't fathom how we could be getting, I'm sorry for the phrase, but screwed again, it almost seems.
No, we're not. We're not. We're holding the, Rob, the man who holds the check, you're a businessman. I've been doing business for 50 some years, and there's people listening right now. We're in control. Don't ever forget that. Okay? Once we release the check, whether you're buying a house, buying a car, or buying a roof, it's all the same.
All right.
Okay, we haven't released that. We will get it remedied. Otherwise, they don't receive the check.
As I was coming to ask Daniel, being that you initiated the relationship with Rick and got him to come down on his.
I'll communicate with them. Okay, it will be remedied. They're going to send me some pictures.
I understand.
So, you know, it's not in the contract to slope it both ways. That's not it.
We need your expertise in communication with Rick so that we get to know.
Yeah, they're, you know, and the way I see it, they're like trying to get us to put gutters on and make some more money because they
screwed up. They can put the gutters on if that's the remedy.
That's right. Let them put the daggone gutters on. You know, you were supposed to slope it to one way. It's in the contract, the slope. And now you sloped it both ways and expecting us to come up with $5,000. Maybe you underbid it. And that's what you wanted to do to try to get us to do this. I know how people work in business. I'm a businessman. And that's not the way we're doing this. If we need gutters now, you don't want to change it. You put the gutters up because that wasn't part of the deal. Right, Rob?
I agree. Thank you. And when you do communicate, please let me know how you make out as soon as you know. I don't want to wait for the next meeting. Let's keep this communication.
Yeah, I need to get this done, and
you've got my phone.
Move on to the north building repairs and get the gutter up. You know, also.
So the second item on the agenda is the north building.
Don't go yet. I have something I'd like to ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Paul. Unit 50.
Go ahead, Paul.
As you may or may not know, I sent you 3 or 4 of the board members a long email with tons of pictures and comments about what has happened. But because Galloway did not properly restore the membrane before they finished, and there was a huge rain early August that completely flooded our unit. There's thousands of dollars of work in
Galway's responsible, Paul, for
Who
that
is?
in their insurance. They should be held responsible. You should not have that on your insurance. I'm glad you brought that up. I did read your email. When a contractor is performing work and they would cause the damage, their insurance needs to be called in to remedy it. Your insurance should not be, you should not use your insurance to pay for the damage. They have to be held responsible.
I agree with that. Now, how do I proceed to start that?
Well, what we need to do is when I talk to them, I'll tell them about the damage to your unit, and that they should get a hold of you, call it into their insurance company, and take care of the damage. And we cannot release until we know in writing again that they're going to take care of it, because if you turn it into your insurance company, your premium going up. We all know that everywhere in the world, it's all the same. And it's Galway's responsibility because they caused the damage. Simple as that. Plain and simple.
All right, let me know after.
So I don't know exactly how it works in Florida, and to be honest, I don't know exactly how it would work in New York. But I do
I know how it works in Ohio.
Before we started the project, Palmer Management got copies of their licensing and their insurance paperwork. They confirmed that they had the proper insurance to do the project. So I would have to think that Palmer Management would have all the information necessary to file a claim through their insurance because of this. I don't want to get totally off subject, but it does bring me to wanting to try to change these meetings to where a Palmer Management representative can join in also. I think we're not using them efficiently at this point in time because we continue to have meetings where they refuse to sit in on. And I probably shouldn't use the term refuse, but they have, although they've been invited to attend the meetings, nobody has attended.
Ken, I have some additional information with Paul and Rona's job. And again, I didn't argue with anybody. I'm just giving everyone the facts. When I found out that Paul had called a remediation company, I spoke with Rick Galloway, and I spoke with David Palmer. Rick Galloway was adamant that he had to get in there and that Paul only contract with the remediation company for immediate remediation, not to fix the job.
What do you mean not fix the job? You mean not fixes the repairs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what you mean. Not do the repairs, but emergency work. I got it.
And he said,
hold on a second. I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's good.
When Diane informed me, I believe it was August the 6th, that the water was coming in, I called Palmer and he recommended the remediation company that I hired. He said he had good results with them. He said nothing about notifying anybody else. And I didn't authorize anyone to repair anything, only to remediate, to stop the water.
Okay, good.
And also to completely dry the whole thing out. I have not yet authorized any repairs to anybody.
Good. Excellent.
Well, we have two different stories, because Palmer told me he talked to you, and he told, he said he told you basically what I'm saying, and that if you have immediate remediation, but you have to talk to Galloway if you're going to get them to fix the problem. And my understanding is that the remediation company has not just remediated, but has cut out a bunch of drywall and already submitted work to your insurance company.
What they submitted was the remediation work. They took the drywall down so they could dry it out behind it, and it was all soaked. That's all part of the remediation. That is not repairs. I have bare walls. I have cabinets that are not replaced.
You also had your carpets all cut up and you had all the flooring taken up
Right.
Well, again, I'm not,
and the floor.
can I finish, please?
Go ahead.
I am not saying who's right or wrong. I'm simply saying what information I have. And that is that in Galloway's position is that Paul walked around them essentially, and they don't feel they have any responsibility.
Well, we're going to sue them. I've already hired a lawyer. So
What do you mean they have no responsibility? They do too. They're working on the roof. It wasn't like that originally before they started, and they caused water infiltration from their job. Okay, they are responsible in any state in this country.
Palmer can say whatever he wants.
No, it's not. You know what? The roofer is responsible. I'm sorry.
Palmer can say
100%.
whatever he wants. He did not tell me to call the roofer. He told me to call this remediation company, and they did a great job of stopping and cleaning up all the wet stuff, getting rid of the wet carpets, and everything there that they is all new. We've just finished repairing it last year.
It was beautiful.
Prior work.
Palmer is lying.
You know what? It's pretty common sense. Paul's unit was not damaged like this when the roof started. Bottom line, okay? They proceeded with the roof, Galway, from their neglect or weather related, whatever. They have insurance, and they caused damage to Paul's unit, and they're responsible. And then if they don't want to work it, we have the documents with the management company, and the insurance papers, and we can call them direct. We can call them direct and file a claim.
Well, Danny, then can you add that to the list of things that you're going to talk to Galloway about?
Yes. I mean, if they're not going to, we're going to call the management company and get the documents and call the insurance company on Paul's unit. It's simple. Anyone in the world knows it's common sense. It's common sense. You don't need PhD to figure this crap out. I'm sorry about my language here, but it's true. I mean, you perform a job, any job in the world. I don't care if you have someone coming in and painting your walls and they put paint on your furniture. Are they responsible for damaging your furniture? Yes. They damaged Paul's unit by their work, and they're held responsible. And that's the bottom line. And Paul's insurance is not going to pay for it. I forbid it. It's not right. It won't happen. And if they insist, then Paul's going to get an attorney, and that's the end of that deal.
All right, on that, I wish I had some kind of wisdom to add, but it's not my expertise in any way, shape, or form.
But it is. I mean,
would have to think
you're in business. You're in business, Rob. You do
my-
damage to a property. Who's going to be responsible? You?
common sense tells me everything that you're saying is correct.
Yes.
But
100%.
government is not necessarily the most common sense state.
Well, let's
I think at this point, again, it goes back to Palmer Management needs to be involved in this. This is why we pay a management company.
I agree.
And
I agree.
we need to get them involved in helping to rectify this whole situation that we're in.
Let them do the job. That's why we pay them. I agree 100%.
So I'm obviously going to be in touch with David Palmer and see what they're going to do.
Okay,
However, that doesn't alleviate you from talking to Ricky over at Galloway and figuring
then I'll
out.
get back to you. I'll call you or text you. Okay, whatever.
Okay, we did get a little off subject, but that's okay. We needed to talk about that also. So north building roof is obviously all Galloway once again, unless we choose not to. I don't think we signed anything on the north roof other than talking to them about it. But let's see how the south roof goes before we do anything on the north. Next thing up is erosion.
My unit number 43 is leaking through the ceiling. It just leaked again.
I'm in 45 and I also have a leak coming in from what appears to be the AC.
It's not the gutters, it's leaking through the ceiling. I'm sorry?
The ceiling in which area? Like over the bathroom, over the stairs, over the
stairs, over the stairs.
Yeah, and I also have, and we know that the AC, where the penetrations are made for the air conditioning units to the roof, that's what Galloway is supposed to be fixing for us as soon as they're done with the south building. They weren't sealed correctly, and we knew there was, well, we were told we would have potential issues with that. And we have an agreement with them to come and fix it. They just said they're not going to fix it until we settle with them on the other building.
Okay.
So
what do I do?
I wish I had an answer, a direct answer. I mean, we can talk to Galloway once again and say, look, we have active leaks, and they could say, well, find another roofer. And I mean, maybe that's what we're going to have to do. But I'd like to talk to them about the south building and see what they're going to do about that. And if they give us a hard time, obviously we're going to have to find another different roofer to fix our issues.
I agree. Because
I guess what can we do is pray it doesn't have real heavy rains and the rains.
Yeah, that's not an option.
I know it's not an answer, and it's not what anybody wants to hear, but I don't want to rush out and get another roofer. Galloway came very highly recommended. They've always done our repair work for us. We've had a long-term relationship with them, really. And I can't believe they're not going to do right, and that they're going to move on and they're going to fix the other building. I mean, it's what the board agreed to over a month ago. It's just everything takes forever. And unless you know a real good roofer also, then I don't know. Anybody else know any other roofers in Florida area?
Super Roofers has always come and done. I mean, they come right away. They're the ones my realtor has recommended, and they've been really reasonable.
Rose, are they a commercial roofer or a residential roofer?
They're residential. I don't think they're commercial. I can ask.
Because that was our original challenge. We got quotes from residential and then they just farmed it out.
I'll find out for you.
We are pursuing, I mean, I know.
We'll wait for Galloway and see what Galloway says after you talk to them. But I will contact Super Roofers.
I know Unit 45 has an active leak, and you're 43. I don't.
And mine is 40. By the way, Rob, and I did call Palmer about my unit. I don't know 100% whether it's the roof or the gutters, but it's coming over the picture window over the lanai, in my master bedroom. So that leak has to be addressed, figure out whether, I brought it up before at a board meeting, whether it's whether it's the roof along the roof edge on the back, or is it actually, the guttering that's not there. So that needs to be looked at when Galloway or whoever else works on the north building. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you kind of mentioned when we talked about it before that you thought it was a gutter issue.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that there's a possibility that obviously it could be the roof edge because of the TPO system. And if they didn't probe it right, it could certainly be leaking along the flashing. And and the only way to know that is to get a roofer up there and check it out, obviously.
Arnold, do you know if Joanna's had any issues with leakage?
Yes, she has.
Yeah, around the window. Yeah.
So, and that's where mine's leaking. So it needs to be addressed. Someone needs to go up there, probe it. It's a TPO. What probing means they take a wire to the seam and check it out. Maybe from what I've seen in the pictures, it could very possibly be
I'm
a roofing
pretty
issue
sure
that needs to be
Cal
addressed.
has done that for us, and that's why we contracted with them to make the repairs. They're holding up the repairs, holding the south building as hostage.
Right. Well,
I don't
hopefully
think
we get a
that's
remedy.
business move myself. As a businessman, I wouldn't do that. They accepted the job as a separate job. They should treat it as a separate job and they should move on. But that's just the way I would do business.
Well, and like you said, Rob, if they're not going to correct the problems, remedying them, what we discussed, the slope of the roof, they're going to put a gutter in the front if it needs it, all this and that. And Rob's issue with the insurance, we will look for another roofer.
All right, I don't want to keep going back to the same thing. We could sit here and debate this
all day long. Yeah, you're right. Let's move on.
So we've beat the roof to death at this point. I would have thanked Joe for his hard work, but I see he's not joining us this afternoon. Who wants to talk about erosion?
I'm not there obviously, but I've spoken with Joe several times. The man is an absolute angel and he has a plan. He has the sandbags being delivered this week coming.
Monday.
He's already started trenching for the downspouts to go out to the canal, which is doubly effective for us. Not just the fact that he's trenching, but the fact that if we had a professional in there, there's a high probability the city of PG would want us to put the water somewhere else.
Right. Like the street. Okay.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Okay, next item on the agenda would be the turf.
Wait, are we done talking about the erosion?
Well, nobody was speaking, but go ahead. Would you like to say something?
Well, I mean, Diane would know a little bit more than myself. Diane, do you have anything that you would like to share since?
Just that Joe told me instead of Thursday delivery for sandbags would now be Monday. And he's hoping Monday early. He's scheduled to go away for a week after this week. So he wants to get it ship shape. But yes, we've got trenches dug along the back from my unit to 55. And it's ready for sandbags.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update.
Okay.
And thank Joe also when you see him for the board. And
He's really awesome. He's doing a great job.
okay, the next item on the agenda is the termite issue, which I'm confused. And Rose, maybe you can help me out. Did you get your place treated or not?
The company called and I gave them my tenant's phone number, so it's in process. They said you guys approved it.
Yeah, we did. And when I called them, they told me it was already done. And I was just a little surprised by that, but I was okay with that because, you
No,
know,
it was not done.
yeah, that's why there was some confusion, but it is going to be.
Yes.
So, and you haven't opened any walls or anything, correct?
No, correct.
Because for Claire's issue, because you also reported termite issues.
Yes.
Because we're going to be replacing drywall in your unit, they felt it would be best to try to do in conjunction with the walls being opened up. They said if they can get in the wall, if they could actually do a much better job than doing it through the little holes and injecting. So we're hoping to coordinate that with, I'm hoping Josh from WSV, when that progresses. Mark, I think you've spoken to Josh.
I have, and he's just waiting on where we want to go, and we're not doing anything until we know
That the
how
roof,
much liability Galloway has and who's paying for it.
well, there, I guess, would be a sticky situation, as we know that some of the damage occurred before the roof was replaced. She definitely had leaks before they did anything. So that one, I think they'd be pointing the finger back and forth.
I mean, I know what was there before, and there's also a record of emails that I sent before Galloway started working. So we know what was identified before the roof, and then once Galloway started working on the roof, I have
You have
sent,
pictures before and after?
yeah. So so I have pictures that were done. Yeah, exactly. So what issues I had before, and then the additional issues that were created by Galloway when they started working on the roof. It's not a lot of damage. A lot of it will probably be using that stuff that you put on, like paint.
Spackling.
Kills.
Yeah, kills. There's just a few spots, but they are. I mean, does where it gets tricky because neither one is a giant job, but they are two different situations.
Okay.
Claire, what was the talk that you had with Rick Galloway?
He agreed. He said when I pointed out the new spots that I had, he agreed to that. The one that I've had that was an issue prior to them working is the one in the hallway that I've had. But then I disagreed with him. I think you were there, Mark. Were you there? Because Christine, who had come on 2 different occasions to work on that side of the building, I guess I forget what you call it, the coping area. I'm not sure where it splits. I'm at the very end of the building before the mailboxes. Firewall, thank you. Anyway, she showed me pictures. She said the reason why it keeps raining she showed me the gap. Unfortunately, she wouldn't she wouldn't give me the pictures. She said she would show them to Galloway. But Rick is arguing, is saying that that's not the case.
Who's Christine?
Christine was one of his workers. One of the roof people.
This is while they were doing the work?
No, this is before. This is preemptive. It was like a month before. They came like twice. There should be records of it.
Right. No, I remember them fixing it, and that's why I'm saying it was, I know you had problems before they started replacing the roof, and they were fixing the problems.
Right, and
That's
then
how
but
we
it wasn't
started
working.
with Galloway, because
It's going to be like Rob, you said, it's kind of a sticky situation, in my opinion, with her roof, with her ceiling damage, having prior damage, and then a little bit of damage now. I'd say, I just want to deal with the rough, with Paul's deal with them. I think that would be the best, and try to somehow just take care of hers. I don't know.
I don't remember God's estimate being all that much, really.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. You know what I mean?
We
with
did
her.
get something from him, didn't we, Mark?
Sorry, say again?
Didn't we get something from Josh on Claire's unit?
I don't recall a document or a number.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay.
If all we're talking about is kills, not replacing drywall,
No, there is
no
drywall
more-
that needs to be replaced.
but was it caused by Galway?
It was not.
No, one was, see, that's where it gets, the one by the sliding glass door and the one in the bedroom, that wall, those two were Galloway. The one by the like the sidewall in the hallway, is it Galloway? Is it not Galloway? I mean, it leaked before.
Okay, I can address it with Rick, but it's gonna be, that one's gonna be difficult. Now, Paul's is gonna be easy, piece of cake. Plain and simple.
Because there was no issues.
Right, exactly. With
Right,
hers,
yeah.
it's gonna be more of an issue, okay?
Just that one section, yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be very difficult. And since there's not like major damage and she needed repair anyway, I don't know about that one right now. I don't know if we should address that one with him.
Well, I would like it to get addressed.
Well, yeah.
That way I can move on and get my termites.
Yeah.
I could talk to him about it, but I'm not 100% whether whether they'll go for it or not.
Easier. I mean, we're not
It's
gonna,
not gonna be easy.
it's not that we're not going to address it, Claire. It's
It's
whether
not gonna be easy.
we hang Galloway for responsibility on it, knowing that we had repair work to do there ahead of time.
Exactly, Ron.
If
Exactly.
you're saying that the back wall is damaged and they think they can fix it with kills, I have no problem paying the guy that's doing the work in the hallway an extra few $100 to slap some kills on the stains in the other room. I don't know that it's worth going after Galloway for that. It's not
100%.
ducking doing the work. It's whether or not we go after him for that repair.
Well, exactly. Okay, I agree with you. And like, I did speak with Rick and Mark was there. They agreed. So if they could just go ahead and take care of their portion, then then we can address the hallway.
Then we could do that separately that way.
Right.
Also, if you've dealt with Rick and you want to just see that through on your own and don't involve us, that's wonderful too. Let us know if you get it taken care of.
Well, no, I think we should still talk to Rick about the hallway, but I don't want to stop the other work just because of that.
Rick has nothing to do with the hallway, really. So,
Okay.
all right. That was actually our termite conversation, but point being, opening up Claire's walls, we're hoping to either see them or not see them. Either way, we will treat her unit because they've been seen, and we're good with termites for now, I guess. The next thing on the agenda was Lanai's, so I guess that's Lanai roofs.
Yes, and there's nothing has happened on that. Because everything else has been a
So I
priority.
guess my question would be to the people in the building with a gutter on the back, has it alleviated the leaking lanais, or are they still leaking really bad?
It appears that it's alleviated my issue.
Diane?
I think mine is good too.
Okay, so maybe lanais aren't that big of an issue once we have gutters. I understand the other building probably has the same issues because there's still no gutters. Brings me back to the north roof, I guess, for a second, Mark. You spoke with Rick from Galloway last regarding the gutters. And am I mistaken in saying he said, go ahead and put the gutters on before he did what he was doing? Or was that not?
Are we in the north building? No, with
Yeah.
the idea
Are we
was,
still on hold with those until Galloway does the roof repair?
yes.
And he wants us to hold off. Galloway.
Yeah, the whole timeline has really gotten thrown out of whack. Originally, when they started the south building roof, they had a scheduled end date and said, we have to pull our crew for 1 week and then we'll be right back to do the north building. There was no issue of holding it up. It was simply a timeline issue. Once the south building was complete, the north building would be started a week later. Obviously, the rains have changed that timeline tremendously. Whether they're holding it hostage, I don't believe that's true, although that may be turning into that after these next conversations. But I think it was simply an issue of timeline.
But they did recommend us not putting the gutters up until they were done.
That's correct.
So then we are still waiting on the gutters then. So does anybody want to talk on Lanai's? Anybody else have anything to add on the Lanai issue?
I do not.
No, anyone's going twice. Okay, last thing on the agenda are the windows, which
Can I jump in on this? Because I've had a lot of conversation. I had an extended conversation with David Palmer, and we looked at the numbers, and back of the envelope, we can replace all of the windows. We have the money to do that, even after all the other bills are paid. The X factor is how much rot we may find as we replace each window. I can tell you that when I did that project, first of all, WSV, he said, and of course he wants the job, he believes that it'd be about $1,000 per window to replace the wood, any rotted wood around the window, and re-stucco and repaint.
It's reasonable.
I had mine done, and it was $3,000. Now,
Right.
I will tell you why mine was more expensive, because the after the wood was replaced, the guy who replaced the wood said, I said, hey, what am I gonna do about stucco? He says, well, I do stucco. And he came over the weekend, he and his crew, as a separate job and a separate company, and did it. So I clearly understand why I paid more. They did a great job, but it cost me more. It's what you get when you get somebody that's going to be there right there. They worked all day Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Yeah.
So that was something I was willing to do in exchange for the convenience. But I going back and looking at the pictures, I do believe there's going to be repair on every window. The reason I bring that up is that Rick said two issues. Number one, you start with, or I'm sorry, not Rick, I misspoke, David Palmer. He said, number one, if you start having to tear in, you don't know what problems you're going to find. And it's possible you could break your budget fixing once you get the windows out. You don't even know what you don't know.
There's
And
not going to be all the windows, Mark. Obviously, we should know exactly, like my window, some of the units have been windows replaced, my neighbors, your unit, so forth. All those need to be subtracted to find out exactly.
we've already gone through that. We've already gone through that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, but with the $78,000 quote, it leaves us some money, but basically it empties out the money that we have in the checking account, minus a few $1,000s after all the other bills are paid. So we run the risk of not being prepared for any additional issues if some other emergency arises. And then Palmer raised the other issue that if we're going to replace everyone else's windows, we need to talk about some kind of a rebate for the people who've already replaced their own windows. And he said, for example, if you decide, say, $7,000 is a reasonable rebate, times 4 is 28, and you don't have the money to do it on top of the window project. So that was the result. That was the end result of our conversation. In the meantime, I did learn that the windows that are there have not been caulked in 20, 30 years. And I've forgotten who I had that conversation with, but they said, you know, just normal maintenance of caulking those windows could go a long way to remediating some of the problems some of the tenants have had in combination with the gutters and the roofs. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know that those windows required periodic maintenance.
I would have
So
thought they would have gotten caulked with the painting. Not that, you know, painting's not done that often, but it was done within 30 years, that's for sure.
I'll take your word for it.
Um,
We know that the last painter did not do a great job. As you recall, you and I had a conversation that they used the wrong kind of paint, didn't properly prep. I don't know. I'm assuming you're right that they did caulk, but who knows?
yeah, you're right.
So my recommendation at this time, as you guys probably already are aware, I am totally committed to getting the windows replaced before we run out of money. But I think that probably needs to be tabled for one more month until we see where we are in finances, especially with this Galloway project still in process. But I do, we're very close. And I think if the board said, let's just move forward with the windows, and it takes 2 or 3 months to get the windows ordered, we'll be ready by then. And we do have some reserves, roofing reserve money, I think about $30,000 or $40,000 in that account. We also have an extra reserve account. We're not going to be broke. Palmer and I also talked about the possibility of special assessments for people who wanted windows and to go about it that way. So I'm just putting all these conversations out there.
Wouldn't that just be paying for it yourself?
Well, the point with the special assessment would be for to cover pretty much the repair. He said, we're okay if that's all we had to do was replace the windows. It's that we don't know what we don't know.
So he's saying, go ahead, spend the money and do a special assessment if we need more money due to the repairs.
That was an option.
All right. I think that's probably something we can think about for another 30 days. I really don't think we should spend the money until we have the roof issues worked out. I don't want to keep going back to the roofs, but Mark, what did they find on the edges? Did they found dry rot, I assume, on the edge of the roof and the wall? Is that what the issue was with the water coming in between the stucco? Do you
Which building?
on the new roof, the south building?
Oh, on the south building, the molding or the cap was not the issue so much as how they fixed things going in and out of the roof. So if you have a wire going down through the roof, through the covering, they were just very sloppy. And you can see where they use some sort of a material, it looks like thick caulk. And they were just sloppy on how that was installed. In some cases, that's starting to rot and fall away.
What building we talking about now, Mark?
Our building.
Okay.
Didn't the inspector, the Punta Gorda inspector, come by and inspect during this process?
We have a sign off on the inspection, but we don't know if they ever went up on the roof.
I mean, if. Okay,
There's also pooling, which he said there's not a lot they can do.
Give
Is
me when you get a chance, give me that inspector's name.
I'll send that information to you after this meeting.
Okay.
I mean, if worst case scenario on this north roof, if I had to, and since I'm a owner of a unit in this building, and I do have a roofing company, and I have certification, I could, if I had to, which I really don't want to, bring people down there and fix the north building. I'd hate to have it come to that, because obviously then I won't be able to, operate my operation here in Ohio for a while.
And right now we have a.
But I'm not gonna let that building or anyone else's unit fall in. That's not gonna happen.
Well, thank you.
Okay?
We do have a contract with a roofer right now. Let's just hope he can get to it. And
Okay, we'll see. But I'm
Before-
just saying, if it falls through, I'm not gonna lose my investment.
So back down to the windows.
Can I say one more thing about the roof?
Yes.
I did, when my tenants called me about the roof leaking, I did call Galloway and texted. Their response was that they are going to start working on our building. They said next week.
The
She
north
talked
building.
to building where my unit is, I guess the south building, number 43.
No, you're in the north building.
I'm in the north
You're my
building.
neighbor. You're my neighbor.
Yeah, 43. She said she spoke to the project manager, I guess, and they're supposed to start working on it next week.
Well, that would be,
That was her response.
When was
That
this
would be wonderful.
conversation?
That would be nice.
Let me check my email, because I think it was 2 days ago that the girls texted me that they sent me video that it was leaking from the ceiling again. Hold on one second.
Well, while you're looking, I'll just reiterate the point I made earlier. Galloway has never held hostage the north building. It was simply an issue of schedule.
I apologize for the phrase.
Rob, if I may say so again, I told Palmer Properties about the leak along my window, and I want that to be noted so that when they go ahead and perform the repairs on the north building, my leak will also be addressed, please. Okay?
Yeah, well, you're a liaison with the roofer, so
I understand, but I spoke to
saw
him
the email.
and he said I needed to go through Palmer.
I
So I
do
went-
believe that Palmer should be in the loop. And once again, I really want to make these meetings where they can be
I
answered.
think so. I agree. Because I told Palmer and I talked to this Ricky a few weeks ago. I told Palmer, so I don't know whether they told Galway or not about my issue. Who knows?
Okay, I talked to, Wednesday, I talked to Caitlin, and her response was, she spoke to her general manager, Ricky Hall. He said, we're starting repairs on the north building next week.
Wonderful.
Rose, can you send me their phone numbers, please? Text them to me.
Sure, what's
Or
your
email.
number?
614
Uh-huh,
316
yep.
6519. Just
Yep.
make sure that I do have Ricky's, make sure I have his present number and the lady you spoke to, so I can
Yes.
get down to this and address these, please.
Yep.
Okay, that concludes the items on the agenda. So the next item would be any new business. Is there anybody out there that'd like to bring any new business before the board today?
We do have an email from Palmer asking the board to address an email that they received from Universal Property. They wanted a timeline for Paul and Rona's unit. And I assume Universal Property is an insurance company.
Yeah, there are insurance.
So they're asking the board, well, they asked Palmer and Palmer asked the board to address the timeline. Rob, you received a copy of that.
And I no doubt did. I can't believe that that's not something that Palmer management could produce. I don't really know the exact date they started the job or what the exact date the rainstorm was, but they should have the correspondences.
Why is Paul and Rona's insurance company involved when Galloway Insurance Company is responsible again?
Because they've been contacted and they're just doing.
Okay, well then I'll talk to Ricky and his insurance company. Galloway's is responsible, not Paul and Rona's insurance company is responsible for repairing the damage. That's not the way it works.
Okay.
So again, Rose, send me those numbers, please.
Doing it right
Restore.
now.
Thank you. Ricky and the other lady you spoke to. I do have them, but it's easier to get them right on my phone immediately.
So is
Look
there
through my-
new business
Thank you.
board right now?
So we're basically saying, send that back to Palmer and let them deal with it.
At this point, I'm hoping that the roofing company's insurance is going to take over and we can push Paul and Rana's insurance company out. I don't know
Absolutely. That's what the liability insurance is
if they
covering in any state.
process, but I guess we could delay it. I would just think, well, I mean, I know I could dig through emails and put a timeline together, but so can management. Why is that all of a sudden a board issue and not a management issue? I want
Okay.
to start managing and doing their job and putting this stuff together.
Okay, well,
Maybe I'm
Paul,
too much from them, but I don't understand pushing it back on us.
Rob, if you can call Palmer up and tell them that they need to contact Galloway's insurance company, and then we file a claim on Paul and Rona's unit for the damage.
The only thing I can say to that is maybe Galloway doesn't want that claim put through, so I think maybe you should speak to him first.
Okay, I will, but it will be done.
But otherwise, yes, I think the Palmer should pursue, and
It definitely doesn't fall on Paul and Rona's. That's ridiculous. That's why they have insurance. Think about it, common sense. Why would they have insurance? Why would you have liability insurance? And
But a
it's
lot of
probably
times
$2-3 million.
they go after each other. And I think that's what Paul and Rana's company has started. They're looking for a timeline so that they can go after whoever's responsible, which would be Galloway's insurance company. They just don't know what the timeline is. So I do somewhat understand what they're looking for.
That's normally not the way it's handled. It's Galloway. The person who performed the work, that's what liability insurance is for. And I'll take care of it with them. They're responsible. Okay. And the backup is Ron and Rona's insurance, which we certainly don't want to use. Okay.
Any other business to be brought before the board today? Okay, so the only
Other business is scheduling the next meeting.
I was just going to say the only thing we have left is to schedule the next meeting. Again, I would really kind of like to get Palmer involved in these meetings.
Can we do Fridays?
I can.
Is that a can or can't?
I can. Yes.
What time would we be thinking on a Friday?
What's good with you? What's good with your schedule?
I can usually make about 4 p.m., but that might be a Palmer issue there. Let's see what they say, I guess. I'll reach out and see if we can get does 4 o'clock work? I know that's a big time difference for you, Arnold.
That's fine with me. Yeah. I'll take lunch at that time. It'd be 1 o'clock out here.
So hopefully, maybe.
Danny,
Yes,
what, Fridays at 4?
Could you make a Friday at 4 meeting? Or is that?
I'll schedule it. I mean, yes, I'll make sure it works.
Okay, so let's tentatively say it would be, would that be Friday, October?
4th.
4th?
And actually, I'll be down in Florida at that time.
So is that
That'd
good or
be good.
bad? Is that good or bad for us?
That's good.
Excellent. Okay, so
These phones work
Friday-
everywhere in the world, don't they?
Friday, October 4th at 4 p.m.
Okay, and then our fallback is Saturday,
At-
October 5th at 10 a.m.
Yeah, okay.
All right, well, you let us know.
Cannot hear you.
Could be Columbus Day, but I don't know.
That's a bad day.
October
Okay.
12th is Columbus Day.
Yeah, well, they don't call it Columbus
Can I get
Day.
a motion to adjourn then?
Can I, no, wait a minute.
Oh,
I just want to go, I want to roll back to the termites issue. The drywall that I need to have removed is a very small, 2 small pieces, you know, just one wall. The whole rest of the house, there's no drywall that needs to be taken out except in the hallway
hear
area.
you.
That might not even have to be taken out. I really don't think that we need to wait on the termite. I have no idea. I mean, I've sent you the pictures of the pile that they're creating. I mean, I haven't seen a pile, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. So I feel like that's something we really need to move on.
I don't know why we couldn't have spoke of that when we were speaking of termites.
But I was sorry, because we were also discussing drywall, and I'm thinking to myself now after our conversation that since there's only a couple pieces
Okay,
of
so
drywall,
maybe my scope of the work was off. I envisioned more damage than just a couple small pieces. So, I mean, I guess that's very good for me to hear that it's only very small pieces.
well, I mean, fine, it's a wall.
It was the
Let's say
recommendation of
it's
the termite
below
people.
my bedroom wall, and it's above my slider wall.
Okay. I mean, again, the termite people felt that they could do a much better job if the wall was open than it being closed.
Okay, well then, you know what, then
If
we'll
in
wait, then
fact
never
that's
mind, I'll
be
wait. I
open-
just want to know when that work is going to happen.
Well, my guess, I mean, I'm just assuming this, but if they go in and they do it before you open the wall, what happens when they open the wall up? Does it let everything out?
Right, okay, you're right.
So we either wait until the drywall work is done, or we try to do it in conjunction with the drywall work. You know, I'd hate for them to open up that wall under your window and find that the insulation's all got to get yanked out because it's got whatever, and now everything we just paid for to get rid
Okay.
of the termites is gone.
Agreed.
So we either wait until the work's done or we do it in conjunction. I think we should do it in conjunction if we can, and if not, immediately thereafter.
Okay, that
Sound good?
works, thank you.
Let me ask this question, Claire. And I know you're not a drywall expert, but do you believe the drywall will be cut out in the same places where you found the termite piles?
No, that's the other bedroom. I found the termite problem under the window in the bedroom facing the parking lot. The water damage is facing the mangroves.
Then I think that tells me schedule the termites now.
Yeah, but they want to do the entire unit, not just the one room that has the bugs present.
Yeah, the whole unit would have to be done.
He said if they don't do the whole unit, it's just going to move from one area to the other.
I agree with you, Rob, and I'm not an expert with, but I've built termites and properties over in even Belize, Central America, and they will move, and it needs to be the whole unit at the minimum, not just one wall.
I mean,
Okay,
we don't chase them out of one unit and into another, but
Absolutely.
it's
Yep.
it's the route we chose to take at this point. So we see what
That's
happens.
right.
But
They
I
could
think
even
that
move into other units,
we
unfortunately.
should wait until the walls are open. And after the walls are open, then do the application if we cannot do it at the exact same time. I guess once we definitely decide who's doing the work, the problem's going to be splitting the work with the roofer and with WSV, because that's getting a lot of contractors involved. And again, maybe that goes back to just letting the roofer off the hook and let WSV do all the work. So everything's at once. But let's make sure we have a contractor before we worry about that, right? Okay. Anybody else want to talk about anything we've discussed or bring any new business or other business?
If you want to make a note of the date Galloway started working on the south building, it was the 29th of July.
7/29 start.
And then it was that weekend, the 3rd, 4th, when we had the storm.
The what?
The storm,
What? No, what's the date?
the 4th
The
of
4th.
August.
The 4th. 8/4 was the rain.
5th. I checked Rana and Paul's place on the 5th of August to find the water penetration. That's the timeline. So unfortunately, within a week of them starting, we had that storm. And
all right. I'm going to answer the email from Paul and Rona's insurance company and just pass those 3 dates on to them.
okay,
Good idea.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you.
okay.
Okay. Has everybody been heard? Anybody else want to add anything else?
Motion to adjourn, 11:18.
I will second that emotion.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody. We'll talk again soon.
Okay.
Thanks.